How you doing, guys? Welcome back to another video. Third one today. Man, I'm on a roll. Today I am going to read through an article, a blog post that I wrote on my blog, overthoughtandunderstated.com. I wrote it yesterday, or published it yesterday, appropriately as it was National Sex Day. And I wanted to make the argument that on National Sex Day, it's actually the perfect day not to have sex, but to race go-karts instead. Not exactly. It's not really what it was about. But the article is called The False Dichotomy of Sex and Go-karts. Really how these two activities are crucial for your self-improvement, self-understanding. Maybe even more so than personality studies, which is part of my livelihood, giving personality readings. So I'm kind of countering my own purpose here. But sex and go-karts are two things that I also have unique experience in, and I can vouch for them as being highly beneficial for self-development, well beyond the fun that it affords you. So I'm just going to read through this article, and if you'd like to read it for yourself, you can go to my blog in the description below and do that. But here it goes. So, the false dichotomy of sex and go-karts. I recently conducted a poll which turned out to be the largest in Instagram history with 26 million participants. The results, astonishingly, were split in dead-ass half at 13 million apiece. True story. The question? Only the deepest and longest-standing debate among the most serious philosophers since the beginning of speculative thought. Which is the funnest activity of human beings, sex or go-karts? They are indeed two sides of the same coin, for pole position is crucial in both activities. However, they serve reverse roles of what convention would have us to believe. They also represent two different and crucial ways of thinking about how we connect to our vulnerable inner child selves. Before I get into that, however, I need to define these terms. By go-kart, I don't mean your two-seater, 10-mile-an-hour celebration station woo-woo garbage cart. I mean real race carts at a real racetrack. The kind that make you shit the seat when you lose control. I mean the kind with no seat belts, because if you get in an accident, it's actually safer to be ejected from it. I mean the kind that, if you get it wrong, you're fucking dead. By sex, I don't mean your mindless, drunken, incompetent college hookup that has you ending the night in the ER because a condom got stuck in the wrong hole. No. I mean the kind in which vulnerability is required and desired. I mean an intimate connection between two conscious and spiritual, sober adults who know what they want and they know what they're doing. I mean the kind in which you can hold eye contact, feel things, and actually like it. I mean the kind that if you get it wrong, also, you're fucking dead. Now I'll ask you again, what's the funnest thing ever, sex or go-karts? No, not sex in a go-kart. That doesn't work. I've actually tried it. I'm not favoring one over the other here, although go-karts is usually more fun. But they're both crucial to our development as social individuals. Allow me to explain. On one hand, there is go-karting. This is a child's game, one might think, but it requires an adult's disposition to do right. Any childish idiot can go out and play bumper cars, but the most successful professional racing drivers all got their start in karting and still do it for fun and conditioning throughout their professional career. It pushes the limits of the connection between their mind and machine more and more with every lap, even more so than their race cars do. Go-karting represents the solitary nature of man at his best, running his own race without concern for how others are running theirs. Improving by milliseconds at a time corner by corner, so that it adds up to victory in the end. Go-karting reminds us that healthy competition is not overt. It's not the goal in itself, but rather it's the consequence of doing one's best and achieving individual potential over time. Improvement happens incrementally, such as in braking a bit later and accelerating a bit earlier through each corner over the course of a session, lap after lap. A good kart racer sees others on track not as competitors, but as obstacles. One's ability to maintain control of a go-kart indicates good masculine qualities like patience and precision and consistency. Make no mistake, a man who steps into a go-kart and proceeds to play bumper cars and cause carnage is a toxic human being. The connection between man and go-kart represents the masculine in us to focus on one thing while maintaining awareness of everything else, and to make that craft an art form with which we express our own unique style. Go-karting is the ultimate test of solitary focus, spatial awareness, and consistency of mind-body connection and input. It is no wonder that Finland, one of the most introverted and happiest countries in the world, has produced more world champions than any other country per capita in all top-tier autosport categories. Their culture centers around a unique concept called sisu. Sisu has no direct translation into English, but it has to do with stoic determination, cool-headedness, courage, and resilience. This concept is present in their personal mindsets and enhances individual and collective performance in any task. The Finns are hot because they're so cool. They have those traits that make and keep panties soaking wet. So on the other hand, appropriately, there is sex. This is an adult's game, but it requires a child's disposition. It calls us to leave behind all responsibility, just as children effortlessly do when they're at play. Like go-karting, it does require some degree of technical skill, but it takes at least two. And improvement, also incremental, happens more deeply through connecting with your partner over time. To do sex well, one must let go of ego and expectation that also traps us adults in a masturbatory frame of mind. Letting go of control during sex, regardless of the role that we take in that act, marks more feminine qualities like submission, sensuality, and presence. Sex is supposed to be fun and funny. A woman who is in her head during sex has a lot of baggage to work through, and that's no fun. When she's worked through the majority of that, develops confidence, and gets sex right, a woman brings an abundance of supportive love and curious energy to a connection with another. This also requires the right man. When a man is tuned in with his partner, knows how to touch her, and is technically competent, and has a soy-free diet, he can allow his natural dominant sexual energy to flow in a way that is sure to please, because he has put in the work to earn her submission. Sexual chemistry means that the participants are accommodating of and enthusiastic about satisfying each other's needs. An abundance of trauma that prevented one from experiencing their childhood in a free and open way will affect one in mature years and prevent them from being as curious and as emotionally vulnerable as one must be in order to properly enjoy sex. It will also affect one's ability to communicate respectfully and effectively, which is the only responsibility that we should carry into the bedroom. Having worked on themselves individually while staying open to a more education of oneself and the connection collectively, is essential. A child can look you in the eyes without fear, ask genuine questions, and connect. When it comes to sex, we adults are terrible at this. In seeking another, we are often overcompensating for abandoning our own needs, desires, and potential. The thought of improving this is terrifying, but it is equally crucial to our social and psychological development. Sex calls us to communicate in ways that a 5-year-old would understand. For example, I like this, or I don't like that, is the way a child would speak. But this is a strength for adults. Talk more outside of the bedroom about what you like and want, and more inside of it too, to spice things up and to apply that vulnerability. Whether you prefer sex or go-karting, well, that may tell you something about what you need to work on, or what you are consciously working on, depending on where you are in your journey of self-discovery. A large part of that journey involves integrating one's optimal masculine and feminine potential. Likewise, our attitude toward children in general can reveal our attitudes of ourselves. The progressive feminist social philosophy fashionable today lacks value for childbearing and or for nurturing children in a healthy way that integrates the masculine and draws firm boundaries around the feminine. And remember, drawing boundaries is a masculine activity to begin with, something we need. This delusion that feminism has sold us is based on and intended to spread mass fear surrounding the deep spiritual value of raising children. Without facing that fear, a parent is certain to inflict their own damage onto their child, especially if they're single. Remember, it is our inner child that is triggered when we mirror each other. We are mostly turned off by others who mirror our own weaknesses and insecurities. This is exaggerated when we are mirrored by children. For children question our deepest assumptions with utmost innocence and clarity. That simple word, why, is not to be shrugged off, but should rather be taken as an opportunity to look inward as much as to inform. Regardless of what you have to work on, sex and go-karts are clearly the two funnest activities known to man, when done right. So why not enjoy both? They are also deeply meditative and therapeutic, for they reveal some of our deepest weaknesses in real time. It's not about what you want, it's about what you need. Are you slow on the racetrack? Well, get out there, work on your focus and your discipline, and improve your craft little by little. Do you suck in bed? In a bad way? Work on tuning in and connecting with people better. And deal with those things and their presence, that other people's presence triggers in you. Mastering sex and go-karting is beautifully impossible, but together they afford us unlimited opportunity for balance between our masculine and feminine roles, and to improve giving our full attention to what is truly important, namely sex and go-karts. And that's it. Just joking though. Really, what's truly important is understanding ourselves. So, see my personality services and my website, Overthought and Understated. Click the link below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.